What should we talk about? The departure of Lopetegui, of course. Simeone, hot and cold, beat Sevilla, but then lost in the Champions League. We'll talk about that. Barcelona, I was in Milan, and I saw something in Barcelona that I'll share with you. Plus Messi. It's been published that apparently he's definitely coming to Barcelona. Is he? Well, taking advantage that the biography I've written on him, the authorized biography, the only one that's out there, it's in the shops right now. We'll talk about that, of course, and about the rest of the games, La Liga games that are in Premier Sports this weekend. Let's do that, but first, a coffee. Yes, we will discuss Messi and his future, but first, let's say goodbye to Guillem Lopetegui. It was a very strange sending off, one that corresponds more to English football than to Spanish football. In Spanish football, you get the sack and then you go. In the Premier League, I think there's more respect for the manager, and I think that's what Monchi was trying to do, the director of football at Sevilla, when he kept him for the game against Borussia Dortmund, a bad defeat, 4-1 at home. And it confirms what we've seen statistically this season. They are 1 point away from relegation, 10 points away from top 4. The equal worst performance at home. Really a lot of bad things that have been happening that suggest the cycle may have finished or should have finished in the summer. Is Guillem Lopetegui the only one to blame? Absolutely not. I think Monchi will accept that as well. Basically, this is a team that lost Koundé and Diego Carlos, the two centre-backs, the foundation, the defensive foundation of the team. Fernando as well getting on and has been ill in the last few months, so that collapses. And when that collapses, they just don't have enough goal to win games. With Rafa Mir, with Nesiri, just not the type of strikers, even Dolberg, who's just arrived, that will give you 20, 25 goals per season. So all in all, this is a team that, yes, I think Lopetegui will also admit it needs something. It's how he got there that is really frustrating for the manager, because he did see it coming. He warned the club, but not enough action was taken. They will play Athletic Club, and that's a team that's in a completely different dynamic. Athletic Club that decided to say at the beginning of the season, publicly, in a press conference, we're going for Europe. And normally teams don't do that kind of thing. They're actually meeting the targets. They are the third best goal scorers in La Liga already. Only Barcelona and Madrid have scored more goals, the third best defense, so really balanced. And in Sancet, playing in the centre midfield instead of just being a number 10, he's originally a number 10. He's got so much quality and he's shown it. Sancet and Nico Williams are the two bright spots of the team. Nico Williams, who's impressed with the national side, definitely going to the World Cup, because Luis Enrique doesn't have that kind of player that dribbles and goes all the time. Really brave player. Those two have been helping Athletic Club reaching completely another level. Barcelona play Celta at home, and what I've seen, having been in Milan, is a team that when it has to reach the next level, that is beat the big teams, I don't think he's ready yet. They have quality throughout the team, we know that. They have had problems with injury, and now Cassier has been joined the list of injured players. That includes Memphis Depay and De Jong, Bellerin, Koundé, Araujo, of course. These are big names, but they have a big squad. The problem has been that Xavi, in the work that he's doing with the side, he's at level 1 of the positional game that he wants. Meaning that he needs more work, more trainings to get level 2, level 3, and beat defenses as tight as, for instance, Inter Milan, where they just didn't connect with the midfielders. With Gavi and Pedri really annihilated, you couldn't find them. Then the forwards couldn't find either, so Lewandowski hardly touched the ball. So Barcelona, when that happens, because they don't have level 2, level 3, because they don't have all the collective solutions at the moment, basically they put a lot of crosses in, they lost a lot of patience and possession, and then Inter Milan had the possibility of beat them. Was it a fair result? Absolutely not, because there were referee mistakes that could have meant a completely different result. But the conclusion is, in La Liga, Barcelona know how to beat teams. They just consistently go, but they're going to find more and more teams that will face them like Inter Milan do, defending very deep and see if you can do something, because at the moment they don't seem to have solutions. But Celta Vigo is a different kind of side. It's a team that will attack, will build from the back, they will be exposed, They've lost 3 games this season, and when they do, they lose badly. They conceded 11 goals in those three defeats. They've got 10 points, which is 3 points more than last season, so they are where they're supposed to be, mid-table. And it will be an entertaining game. One more of this weekend, and we're going to still deal with 2 more games. But before that, let me show you all the games that are taking place in La Liga this weekend, and you'll watch them all in Premier Sports. And Messi. Messi has not decided anything about his future. Nothing at all. It will be decided after the World Cup. That doesn't mean the decision will take place in January. That means that at some point he's going to say if he continues with the national side, and after the World Cup could be June, he will tell PSG if he's staying or not, and then if he goes to the MLS or comes back to Barcelona. No offer has arrived to Messi from Barcelona. Zero. It's all talk. So there's absolutely nothing. The impression I've got is that right now, the ones who can take advantage of the situation is PSG. They've got a 2-year deal that finishes this season, but they've got an extra year that if both parts agree, automatically goes in. But if both parts agree, that normally doesn't happen because of PSG knowing now the marketing power of Messi and the form as well of the player who scored in the Champions League again, means that the conditions will be changed and everything will have to be negotiated, and PSG want to offer 1 + 1. So 1 more year plus 1. And none of that has taken place either because that's being prepared. So Messi doesn't want to hear anything about his future, wants to see how he feels himself. And to be honest, now at PSG is working very well. It looks today that PSG have got certain advantage to keep the player. Nothing decided about his future. Certainly, he has not decided to return to Barcelona at this point. Atletico Madrid-Girona is another game I'll keep an eye on. First of all, because it seems like the Griezmann case is about to be finished, but not yet. It looks like Atletico Madrid will pay 20 million euros for Griezmann, and he will be, at all effects, an Atletico Madrid player. He will reduce his wages about 30%. That's a story that came out in Cadena Ser, and I'm hearing from Atletico Madrid that that's close to be finalized, but not yet. So he probably won't start his game. In any case, it comes on the back of a victory, a good victory against a Sevilla, poor Sevilla, that was dismantled as they had been all season in different games against Manchester City, against Barcelona. Atletico Madrid did the same against Sevilla, and then Atletico Madrid lost against Bruges. So it's a very irregular season for Simeone. I think what's happening here is that there is still a frustration from players that they cannot express themselves as well as they should. Meanwhile, defensively, the team is not as strong as it should have been. Even though Savic and Jimenez are back, they still make mistakes. It's easy to attack them, and this is not the Atletico Madrid that Simeone wants to build, one based on not conceding. So how you change that? Just try to convince the players, forget about, we know you're very good. We know you can do a lot with the ball. It's what you do without it that makes the difference for Atletico Madrid. Simeone has to insist on that. But it's getting harder and harder for players to listen. And when that happens, you change the players or you change the manager. Manager is not going to be changed. So it looks like they may have to rebuild the side again, even though it's a young side with a lot of talent. The frustration is, Diego Simeone, why don't you make them play a little bit better? On Girona, to tell you one thing, I introduce you every week a new player of quality, Tati Castellanos, on loan from New York City of the MLS, really from the City group. Tati Castellanos has scored 2 goals, played every game, and he's a striker that is going to places. I met him, I did an interview with him, it's in Spanish, I think subtitled in English in my YouTube channel. Tati, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Todo bien, perfecto, perfecto.
Te llamo Tati porque me has dado permiso, ¿eh? Pero yo normalmente a la gente le llamo por su apellido o por su nombre, pero lo de Tati...
Estamos en confianza, dale.
And he has a strong personality and he's very ambitious, so it's a step towards something else. Tati Castellanos hopes to impress in games like this against Atletico Madrid. Another top game on Sunday, that's Real Sociedad Villarreal. Umar Sadiq, the striker that Real Sociedad signed, is injured. He's going to be out for a long time. But others are coming on with a goal. Sorloth is becoming the striker that Real Sociedad wanted him to be. He scored twice at the weekend against Girona. And Brais Mendez has got 4 goals in 7 games already. Has arrived from Celta, of course, a midfielder has got so much quality, and again he's jumped to the next level. So things are sorted for Real Sociedad while Sadik gets recovers, and Oyarzabal, their captain and perhaps main star, is back in training. So in 2-3 weeks' time you may start seeing him, and that's good news for them. But bad news for Gerard Moreno at Villarreal. He's out for another month. He may miss the World Cup, and the stats of Villarreal drop massively offensively without him. They haven't won without him this season, for instance, and he's absolutely key. But they need to find other solutions. Nicolas Jackson is the striker that's been used more often by Unai Emery, 21-year-old, who I think will be a very good player, but only 1 goal in 7 games, which means that he's got to improve on that department. But he moves really cleverly. He's strong. He could finish better. That's the thing. But this Real Sociedad Villarreal is a game for the Champions League. These 2 teams will be fighting for the Champions League, and I cannot wait for it, as I cannot wait for the rest of the games. Let me show you again what's up this weekend. We've got, for instance, games on Saturday that you shouldn't miss. We already mentioned Atletico Madrid and Girona, Sevilla Athletic Club as well, but the last game on Saturday is Getafe Real Madrid, and on Sunday you've got a very good game to start with, Valladolid Betis. Betis looking really good one-day attack. Cádiz Espanyol, Real Sociedad Villarreal, and Barcelona Celta Vigo is the last game on Sunday. There's one more on Monday, which is Elche Mallorca. That's it for now. More coffee with Guillem next week at this time.